We look forward to partnering not only with the government, but the local communities. And really we look forward to a successful few years ahead and delivering on our development objectives. Thank you, Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, I just want to thank all the media for being here today. I particularly want to acknowledge the Minister, Dr. Gail Rigobert, who is here as the Minister of Education, but also today in her capacity as the Minister of Sustainable Development. The Minister, Dominic Fede, who's the Minister of Tourism, and the person who's been spearheading ministries, who's been spearheading this project, Mr. Bradley Felix, who's in charge of investment. I also want to recognize Mr. Pinky Francis, who's here as part of our team and chairman of Invest St. Lucia. As indicated by Mohammed, when we got into government, this was a project that had initially been initiated by the former government under the CIP program. And we have now been working with the developer, and I want to publicly say to Mohammed how grateful I am for his cooperation, his patience, and working with us to try to create a project that we think is going to be to the benefit of everyone. The fundamental difference in the project moving forward really has been how we've been maneuvering with the CIP program. What we've agreed to do is that the applicants that Range brings to the table for the CIP, that those funds are now going to be channeled into Invest St. Lucia, and Invest St. Lucia is going to be lending the money to the developer. And we've worked out what the terms of that lending is going to be. In addition to that, Invest will have the first charge on the land. So it means that if anything goes wrong with the project, that the government will be holding the land and the development as collateral, being able to move forward. I think it's very important that I say to you that as a government, that what we've been trying to do is to make sure that funds that are developed from the CIP program, that the public of St. Lucia sees where they're going. And that we have indicated that our preference is that monies that are going to go into these developments through the CIP, that those monies be used either as a loan or in the form of equity. And that right now we're using Invest as the mechanism for that involvement. It's the intention of our government over the next couple of months to be able to introduce a sovereign wealth fund, and so that the funds that we're obtaining from the CIP program will go into that. I think it's important that the people of St. Lucia understand where these funds are and how they're being used and what the return on those in that investment is going to be. I think it's also important to understand that when we are developing in undeveloped areas, so View Fort, the East Coast, and certain aspects of the West Coast, there is a fair amount of investment that is required in infrastructure, of which we have no difficulties in making sure or allocating CIP funds towards, because that is what improves the viability of the project. And again, as we have repeatedly said, investments in hotel industry, while on paper may belong to Range, still always belong to the people of St. Lucia. There's no ability of anybody taking the hotel and putting it on their back and returning. And so while many people believe that governments say that this is a vote of confidence and they take it as being political, that somehow we're patting ourselves on the back, we genuinely know that this is a vote of confidence. Because when you make these kinds of investments, you can only do it when you have confidence in the destination that you're going in. And so when I say genuinely that we appreciate the confidence you show, it's not necessarily in my government, but it's in the people of St. Lucia and the country of St. Lucia. And for that I am very, very grateful for that show of confidence. I'm looking forward. We have been made privy to us as to who the potential manager is going to be of the development. We're very excited. I'm looking forward to the formal announcement. I'm also looking forward to the commencement of the construction of this project. And this is coinciding with the overall development plans for St. Lucia. As I indicated in my budget presentation that we will be announcing very soon the airport project. That I can say to everyone in St. Lucia that the financing for the airport project has been secured, and that we're looking forward to making the details of that financing and of the new design of the airport project in the upcoming months. But that's going to be a critical component to what we're doing, because if we're going to continue to attract high-end visitors to this country, the reception that we have at the airport, the current design at the airport, is inadequate. Also, when you hear us talking about border control, is to make sure that our processing at the airports is modernized, and that we're not designing an airport based on what I call bad habits. So these long lines in immigration are absolutely unnecessary. I was very heartened to hear that our ambition, that when people arrive in St. Lucia, they don't have to pick up their bags at the airport, but can pick up their bags at the hotel. That even Switzerland